Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. And I'll just take 3 minutes. You can get with somebody near you and tell them any experience you had in chanting the Maha Mantra just now. Been chanting for a little while. How it sounded to you, what it meant to you, any thoughts, impressions we're interested in. So whoever you share with, they're going to share with the rest of us, if you give them permission. Okay, you ready? Take 3 minutes. You can stand up, move around, find somebody, and share, and we'll be right back. Okay, and Mark said go. Go meet and talk. Share. Chanting, although it seems very simple, is not nothing. In fact, I mukta kaleru upasyamanam. Upasyamanam means a form of very high worship of God. There's many different ideas about how to worship God, but in the bhakti scriptures, especially this prayer I'm reciting from Rupa Goswami, he says, I mukta kaleru upasyamanam. That those who are liberated souls, those who are extremely advanced take to this special process of chanting the Mahamantra, because it is at once simple but also allows one to enter deeply into one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many ways in which one may want to get water when one's thirsty, and if someone tells you that there's water available everywhere, so why don't you just get it from the sky? Plenty of clouds available here in San Francisco. So that's like telling somebody you can connect to God, He's in heaven. But where's heaven? I can't see it. How can I even get there? Or someone might tell you that you can dig a well. Just dig deep enough, but then you need tools. I don't feel like digging anymore these days. Down into the earth. And even then you'll need to get a bucket to pull it up. This is like someone telling you to practice yoga for many years, try to find God within your heart. But if you want water in the palm of your hand, then the chanting of the names of the Supreme is like that. You can just drink it any time. It doesn't matter if you're driving, or it doesn't matter if you're walking, or you're with people or without people. If you invoke the mantra, then you'll have direct contact. This is the message given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Apana samsritim goran yannama vivishograna tata sadyo vimucheta yabhipeti swayambhayam. That there is no difference at all between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His name. So when you say the name, you're directly in contact. So now I'd be interested to hear what kind of reflections you got from those around you from the chanting process. You want to share? Yes, Surya.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I just had an opportunity to talk to Prabhu. He's been coming here for the second time, and he was sharing.
Second time is good.
Yeah.
First time is very good, but second is very, very good. Thank you.
I could see him. He was feeling a little bit emotional, and I asked about it. He said that I was feeling like Krishna was calling me and asking me to come to the temple today, and he happened to be here, and in the kirtan he was feeling that connection.
Wow, that's very nice. Glad to have you back. Thank you. Great. What else? Yes, Kautakarnaka.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I had the opportunity to speak with Ashok Narayan Prabhu. He said the chanting was really blissful. He didn't want it to stop. And at the same time, he was appreciating how easy Krishna consciousness is. We do not need any deep understanding of the scriptures and philosophy. Just connecting with the name of Krishna gives us the highest ecstasy.
These are really nice points. One of the signs given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the quintessential teaching on the process of devotional service, is that when you don't feel that you want to stop chanting, this is a sign of spiritual health. If you're chanting and you feel like I want to stop every second, this means I'm distracted. There's something blocking the flow of the spiritual energy in me. But if I feel like I can go on and on and on, never stop, the more I feel like that, the more spiritual health I have. And this can be developed over time. What are the reflections? Yes.
So here next to me is Audrey. And this is Audrey's first time here. And she sensed and felt that people are very sweet. And she felt very much welcome. And also chanting that made her feel like she's a special way of connecting with us.
Wow.
So that's what she appreciated about the chanting among all of us today.
Thank you, Audrey, and welcome to ISV. Hare Krishna. Yes, it also, the chanting connects us with the others who are chanting as well. It's a direct connection to the Supreme, but all those who are chanting are also part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they have their own intentions, which are palpable. When somebody has a motivation, you can feel it when they walk in the room. Is that true or not? Have you ever had this experience with a spouse, significant other, somebody you live with, they walk in and you can actually feel what their motivation is? we are subtle beings as spiritual beings, but what we emanate because of the way we are, what kind of intentions we hold in our heart become a matter of our external environment. In other words, it penetrates outwardly and rearranges our environment, and it also affects other people around us. So when we're around those who have an intention to advance spiritually, and we all chant together, there's a collective effect from this. This is what I mentioned in the beginning. The word is samkirtana. Everyone please say samkirtana. So kirtana means this chanting, but sam means together or a completeness. And that becomes more pronounced and complete when we all come together to chant. And that's especially what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended as the means for spiritual practice in this age, is chanting together like we've just done. Risheshwari Leela.
So I met Pragati and her daughter Ananya, and correct. So they are here. They were here last time, first time in Janmashtami last year, and they've been coming, and they want to be regular, and they felt very peaceful.
Fantastic.
When they heard the chanting.
Wasn't that an amazing Janmashtami last year? I felt it too. I was thinking we had that time together. It's a celebration we have once a year, Audrey, that many people, in fact 10,000 people came last year, and we stay up all night chanting practically. Yes?
And she appreciated the community atmosphere she felt here.
Yeah.
The family.
Great. So nice to have you back. Thank you very much. Nirakula.
Kushla is here. She's visiting from Vrindavan.
Hello.
And she said she feels like she's in Vrindavan.
Jai. Which is an important lesson because, of course, Vrindavan is a sacred place. It's compared to an embassy. Once when I was in Calcutta, and I had been there too long, that meant I wanted to go home. I had to go to the American embassy and do something, I can't remember what it was, obviously with my visa or something. And when I went there, as soon as I walked into the embassy, there was a glass encasement, but inside everything was American. I noticed that there was Arrowhead water. I mean, they must fly it over. The Americans are American. There were American snacks, everything, nothing from the other side, from Calcutta. And I was looking in there, I was going, what? There's America right there. So Vrindavan is the name of the place where Krishna appears in the world and is compared to this embassy. So I went to that American embassy, and indeed it was America. The U.S. Marines were in there. Everything I could see. And so similarly in Vrindavan, when we go there, we find that there's the spiritual world that's here in this world. However, the chanting of Krishna's names actually creates the same environment because, as we said, it's non-different from Krishna. So if someone wanted to start a home practice, and on a regular basis, they did this chanting, for instance, with family or friends, or invite people over and they chanted, then their home would start to transform. And there's a verse explaining this in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the philosophical treatise. It's a summary of all the Upanishads, sometimes called the Gita Upanishad. And in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir, Brahmagnau Brahmanohutam. Brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. And that is something very useful. Whatever material things you have, which you use for the service of the Supreme, transform themselves. They no longer are material, but they change from matter into spirit. So this is a mystical process, but actually matter is spirit covered over with the wrong intention. So if the intention is reconnected to the material thing and it's used for a higher purpose, then it assumes its original spiritual form. You may say, could you give more elaboration on how that works? And I would say, yes, I can. If you go to a blacksmith, which is rare here in Silicon Valley, but I've seen in Japan, in Takayama, Japan, it's a kind of an ancient city. There's still blacksmiths there. I think they're more for the tourists, but in any case, They have recreated the original atmosphere and use the same tools, and they get a red hot fire going. And then they'll take pieces of metal and they put it in the fire. And after a while, the metal, like iron, it changes from being what is a hard piece of iron into a red hot, malleable piece of fire. And they can bend it and turn it, and the iron is no longer iron, it's actually fire. And if you don't believe it, you can touch it to something and you'll see that it'll ignite. In a similar way, you can utilize whatever kinds of things you have in your life for the higher purpose of worshiping the Supreme, and they also transform. So we don't have an aversion to things per se, but we say, or the Bhagavatam, the teachings of the great saints about Krishna, says that everything that you have that you can use in the service of the Supreme should be used. And anything that you don't need, you can leave aside, but use everything possible, and that will become transformed. A couple more. Yes, Kanka.
I was speaking with, tell me your name again.
Suchitra Gaurangi Devi Dasi.
She is from Bangladesh,
Hare Krishna.
and she is a disciple of Jaipataka Maharaj.
Hare
And this
Krishna.
is her first time here. She'll be here for 2 weeks.
Welcome. Hare Krishna. So what did she tell you?
She doesn't speak English, but her daughter told me that she likes it very much, and she can understand English.
Anirban Prabhu, Auntie.
Repeat it, what she said in Bengali, Kanka. Try.
Anirban Prabhu.
Auntie, the auntie of...
She is the auntie of Anirban Prabhu.
Who's on? Oh, really?
She likes this place very much, especially devotee association and the temple. She likes very much.
Well, tell her we like her too. Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Okay. 2 more reflections. Yes, 1, 2.
Hare Krishna. So I had a chance to speak with Sumati Mataji.
Oh.
So she's visiting us regularly from Pacifica. So she was saying that initially she started playing the kartals to support and serve the kirtan, and then when the kirtan went more ahead, she wanted to immerse herself so much into the kirtan that she didn't want to concentrate on the kartal and do any disservice to the kirtan. So she kind of stopped, but completely immersed herself into the holy names, and she wanted to be fully pulled into the holy names. So that was a wonderful feeling.
That's an important reflection, because especially the word immersion, it's somewhat difficult through conventional types of meditation to stay fully immersed. That is, if I sit down at any given time and try to focus my mind on a single point or on my breath, I might find that the mind wanders. Mightn't I? So there's a way in which the Sankirtan, or the group chanting, is recommended because there's a natural sense of being carried away by the current of the transcendental sound and being immersed. So your experience of immersion is very important, because it's not so easy through regular meditation, but through mantra meditation, especially in a group, one could be carried away for quite some time. And then when we come back from that immersion, we're not the same. Sarvatma snaparam param vijayate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, when you become immersed, it's like taking a bath for your soul. And when you come back in, you might have different intentions than you did when you started the chanting. You might have been thinking, not you, but someone might be thinking, let me I need many different things. But when I feel some satisfaction from the chanting, I might think, I really just need to chant more, or to become more dedicated in my practice. And this indicates the purifying effect of the chanting. Go through the car wash, come out the other side. Yes. Well, yeah, Harivamsha Prabhu. We don't have him for long, so let's get him when we can.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Maharaj. I
Krishna.
was talking to my very dear friend Ankur Prabhu. He was mentioning that how the names of the Lord are potent, they have potency invested in them, but along with that there's a certain sweetness which he felt. And then he was sharing that while chanting, getting immersed in that sweetness, he was also observing these beautiful pictures being displayed, fantastical pictures. And then, may I? Then he was saying, so does Krishna look like that? When will that picture come in my heart? So he said that, he told me, but chanting is the key. So let's focus on the chanting, and whatever else has to come will come in the heart.
This is such a nice point, and it's a point made by Narada Muni in the 5th chapter of the 1st canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, where he says, Iti murtyabhidanena mantramurtim amurtikam yajite yagya purusham sasam yag darshana puman. Here he says that if you want to have a complete connection and vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, then you can do so through chanting his name. So he starts off by using the term mantra murtim amurtikam. So in Sanskrit, the word murti means form, and it also means difficulty. Now, when you say mantra murtim amurtikam, it means the way in which you can see the form of the Lord without difficulty. And you might say, but I'll just see it a little bit, or it'll be a partial representation. And the verse, Narada Muni goes on to say, no, completely. Samyak darshana puman, your darshan, or your vision, will be complete. It's not that there's anything lacking. Everything will be there. And all the spiritual paraphernalia that you need to continue your practice becomes manifest in your life, especially through vibrating the transcendental sound vibration. It appears in your life through by the force of attraction of the transcendental vibration of the holy name of God. Thank you for that, both of you. Good job. And do we have one more?
Thank you, Maharaj. That was a very nice kirtan. I was planning on using the 3-minute break to get some water, but on my way I was interrupted by a person from Hyderabad who is visiting us here for the first time.
No water.
The Krishna gave me something better. So he shared that he is visiting ISV for the first time, and sorry, I forgot your name. Vishwak. Yeah. So he said when he was in his 7th grade, he by-hearted the entire 12th chapter, and he had a temple close to his house. He saw this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but he never knew that this mantra can be sung in so many tunes and variations. So while we were singing, he was anticipating what's going to come next. So he said he really liked it. Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much. Yeah, that reminded me when you said Hyderabad, you were going to get water, and he was from Hyderabad. There's been a drought in Hyderabad for some time, right? And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a beautiful poem which describes this chanting as being like the clear rivers flowing on the parched tongue. As if the tongue in the world, when I'm speaking many other things, like can I make more copies, can I make more money, and on I speak about various ways in which I'm trying to arrange my life in this world just to avoid distress. But these things don't actually bring any real water to the tongue. But by chanting, this is such a powerful vibration that it's like it brings the refreshing rivers that fulfill the desires of the tongue. So one can actually taste this Tanama rupa charitari sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyoja. There's a way in which, by the practice of chanting, that gradually there's a taste that awakens within the tongue, and one feels satisfied. And that's a sign of spiritual health. If you start to feel satisfied and relieved by the chanting, and then of course it's natural that we'll want more and more. So now I just want to describe a second way in which one can take this mantra. So the mantra is portable. That's a nice feature. You can take it wherever you go. And no extra paraphernalia needed. You don't need to set up make a special arrangement. And this is something that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned as a feature of the chanting. He said that Niyamanaka Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamahintas Mananena Kala. So I mean, there's no particular time or place that you have to designate exactly to chant the mantra for it to be efficacious. Some mantras require this. In other words, some mantras mean that you have to be initiated into the mantra. You have to accept Diksha. Some mantras you chant at the sandhyas. That means at the beginning of the day when the sun is just coming up, or in the middle of the day when its sun is overhead, and at the end. You don't chant it at other times. And you have to be in a pure state when you chant as well. But the Ma mantra, you can chant any time, in any place, and it'll have the effect. And it's not required that you accept initiation to chant the mantra. Not required. Anyone can take advantage of it and start chanting Hare Krishna anytime without receiving Diksha. So this is one of the benefits of the mantra. And when one becomes aware that the mantra is a powerful practice to advance spiritually, then one might ask, what are the different stages of this spiritual progress that I can identify in myself? So one of the stages, the starting place, is called the offensive stage. So that means I'm not really aware of how important the mantra is, and I'm not really trying so hard to chant the mantra with attention. And as I'm doing it, I'm not getting much taste. And it feels like I should maybe do something else. This is a beginning stage. And most people go through this. Sometimes people get a free sample where they experience something really profound from the chanting, but when they go back to do it themselves, they think, who turned the water off? And it's really difficult to even get a drop. Or it may be even hard sometimes to pick up one's bead bag. When I say bead bag, devotees often chant on beads to count how many mantras they're chanting at home. And this is a different kind of chanting than we just did, called japa. Everyone say? Japa. And in this japa, one utters the mantra loud enough for oneself. Because, like, for instance, if I was chanting japa, I'd probably be about at this volume. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And let's just say I was sitting in my room and I could sit there and I just repeat the mantra and listen to it for myself. There's no drums playing, there's no harmonium, there's nobody else singing, but I'm saying it over and over again using my own tongue and lips. This is called japa. So now, to have a steady spiritual practice, one might endeavor for what's called numerical strength. And it means that I do a set number of mantras every day. I can count them. So one way to count them is on a string of beads. So every time I say a mantra, I move my fingers to the next bead so I can count. I did one mantra, now I do two, then three. This is a common way of counting in many cultures. People have this we see in many places in Asia, Japan they have, and so forth, many Buddhist monks. And if one does that every day and practices japa, chanting a certain number of mantras, one's said to be a serious practitioner. So as we start, there may be a phase, there probably will be at the beginning, when it seems a little bit difficult to concentrate the mind. Because oftentimes these days we're a little busy, right? Yeah, so if you sat down and chant a little japa, you might think of other things that you had to do instead, right? So the mind goes off, and then you're thinking, I'd like to stay here and chant, but the mind says, no, let's do something else. So a serious practitioner would say, you can, to his or her mind, you can go off and do something else, but in a minute. First, let me finish the number that I have designated for myself. Someone who does this, any number, it doesn't matter how many it is, but if somebody says this and then keeps to it on a daily basis, such person is known as a serious practitioner. And this is the beginning of a home practice which really starts to open up one's life to the possibilities of spiritual advancement in all aspects of life. So now, when one starts in that way, one may find many obstacles. So those who stick it out, even during the obstacles, are known to be in the clearing stage. That means that they're working hard to remove the obstacles on their path. And because of their sincere endeavor to remove the obstacles, they may get a few extra gifts from the mantra, like experiences that inspire them to do more. Then the ultimate goal of the chanting is when one directly experiences that there's no difference between the mantra and Krishna, and one is unwilling to stop chanting at any time, because it's such a heightened experience in life that one becomes addicted in a good way to the chanting of the mantra. These are three general categories of chanting. So like any discipline, it takes a little practice to do the mantra meditation, but it's actually aesthetically very pleasing. If you're using beads, you're holding on to something and you're moving it, you actually get to move your lips and listen to something that's very nice. And the mantra itself, the one we're chanting, the Maha Mantra, is symmetrical. It's got 16 words, 32 syllables. So you can move along in a nice rhythm without being disturbed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now the words, Hare means, O energy of the Lord. Krishna means, O my Lord. And Rama means the pleasure potency of the Lord. So we say Hare, Krishna, and Rama. And altogether, the mantra is saying, O my Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So the idea here is that we are parts and parcels of Krishna. That is, there's a fire, and then there's sparks from the fire. So we're like the sparks from the unlimited fire of Krishna. And the other day, someone asked me about how it is that we do service for Krishna, and then we actually feel satisfied. And I gave an example that Srila Prabhupada used to give. And that is that if the hand decides to enjoy a plate of delicious prasadam, like what's on it? Kheer, okay. A big bowl of kheer, and that's a very sweet kind of preparation. So the hands go into the bowl, and instead of course, it's kind of hard to eat kheer with your hands. Could I have something else? Samosa, okay. Samosa. So there's a nice samosa, but my hand starts to chew the samosa. How does that look anyway? A little unseemly, I think. And the hand is not going to get that much out of it, going like this. In fact, hands really don't enjoy that much. They just cooperate. You can accidentally hit, your hand with a hammer, and then it really hurts. So it can really hurt, but it doesn't really get that much pleasure. So a hand is more like a cooperator, but if it tries to eat the samosa, then it becomes ultimately frustrated, and Prabhupada told a story. He said, one day all the senses, including the hands, the eyes, the ears, they all got together for a protest, and they say, why is the stomach always just taking everything, and we're just serving it? We collect the food, we prepare it, then we transport it and put it in the mouth. It just goes to the stomach. Stomach's just sitting there enjoying and digesting. No more. We're going on strike. And after several days, they realized they were getting weaker and weaker. And then they reconvened and they said, this isn't working. Let's try going back to our job. And they went back to feeding the stomach, and immediately they felt satisfaction, nourishment. And in a similar way, there's an attitude I might have that, what's in this world for me? How can I find a way to get the maximum enjoyment out of it? But if I change my attitude and I think, how can I be of the most service, especially to my original divine source, who's like the origin of all nourishment, like the stomach is to all the limbs and senses in the body, and I just do my level best to serve in that way, then I, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jiv Krishna Das E Bishwas Kole To Artu Konai. If you develop this attitude, then immediately you'll start to feel satisfaction and happiness, and your misery will go away. So when you chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, you're given full permission to make this repeated request. Oh my Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. And that's a great relief, because normally the mind and the senses are always demanding, I want my own satisfaction. And they're tyrannical about it. They want what they want. And they keep asking for more. And the more they get, the less satisfied they are. And that's a problem. However, if I turn my attention towards the mantra and the meaning of the mantra, oh my Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service, then I'll naturally start to feel happy, and the environment of my life will change drastically by that. Are you buying all this? Yes. Why? Huh? Because what? You can relate to it? You find it relatable? Okay, that's good. All right, so this second kind of practice, highly recommended. Start this as soon as you can, the chanting of japa. So there's a way you can chant, you can count on your fingers. So if you hold up your hand like this, and you put your thumb in the middle of section of your ring finger, and then say Krishna 1. Move your thumb down to the segment at the bottom of your ring finger and say Krishna 2. Move it to the bottom of your little finger, say Krishna 3. Middle of your little finger, say Krishna 4. Top of your little finger, say Krishna 5. Top of your ring finger and say Krishna 6. Top of your middle finger, say Krishna 7. Top of your index finger, say Krishna 8. Middle of your index finger, say Krishna 9. Bottom of your index finger, say Krishna 10. This is a test to make sure I don't have dementia. Okay, so I think I made it all the way through. So now these are the spaces on your fingers where you can count. And so if you want to set up for yourself with no paraphernalia, no one even has to know you're chanting, you can just put your hand in your pocket and chant, then you'll be able to count how many mantras you're doing, and this, I repeat, is the beginning of a serious spiritual practice, counting your mantras. So now, let's try going through, and we'll do 10 mantras together in the form of japa. Who wants to participate? Okay, for anybody else, there's a holding room over here. You can wait it out and come back in. Okay, so let's do the Maha Mantra together. And when we get to 10 mantras that we count on our fingers, we'll stop and see how it feels. Okay, you ready? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sit with your eyes closed for about 10 seconds. And you'll notice that the vibration is very powerful. It touches all your cells in your body. It penetrates the very subtle coverings on the soul, the mind, the intelligence, which are all bound up with all kinds of worries. And it goes right to your essence. In this way, you'll feel natural happiness by cleansing yourself through the mantra. Now you can open your eyes. And I want to suggest to you that your body, although you may think of your body from time to time that this is me, is not actually you. It's kind of an instrument. I'll put it in those terms. You could call it a vehicle also. But what kind of instrument are you? You are an acoustic resonator. That's what your body is, an acoustic resonator. And here's what I mean by that. An acoustic resonance is a phenomenon in which an acoustic system amplifies sound waves whose frequency matches one of its own natural frequencies of vibration. Again, it matches its own natural frequencies of vibration. This is called resonance. Now, how do you get more out of your practice and your chanting of your mantra? You adjust your life a little bit through what we call VLCs. Those are voluntary life changes, everyone say. Those are called the VLCs. Now you need, if you want to make your home practice really powerful, make yourself a list of your VLCs, voluntary life changes, that help to develop your resonance with the mantra. Because the more that your lifestyle is in tune with the high vibration of the mantra, the more you'll feel it, and the more you'll transform by that. And you can make those changes in your life. So there's several of them that are recommended. That means to live in a cleaner environment, because you are, and especially starting with the level of sound that you listen to, you are here. Now I want you to listen to this statement again, but I want you to spell the last word not as H-E-R-E, but I want you to spell it as H-E-A-R. Are you ready? I'll say you please repeat. You are here. You are here. Now again, it's spelled, here is spelled H-E-A-R. You got that? Now say it again. You are here. You are here. So it's an abbreviation for you are what you hear. But whatever you hear, whatever sound vibration you listen to, whatever you're hearing will rearrange your acoustic resonance. And when you're more resonant because of voluntary lifestyle changes, especially through organizing your environment so that you're hearing things that are more spiritual, then when you chant the mantra, you start doing your japa, you'll feel it and you'll be able to concentrate your mind on it much more clearly. In fact, it will lift you. And you'll clear much faster. You'll be in the clearing stage almost right away. So there's a verse that describes this in the Sri Upanishad, which says, Anyadevahor sambhavad, anyarahor asambhavat, iti shushu madhiranam, yenas tadvichakshare. And that means that very high-minded, qualified people from antiquity have described how one result is obtained by hearing transcendental sound, and a different result is obtained in your life by hearing sound that is inherently material. And what do I mean by that? Am I just being mean in general by saying material sound or being critical? What might we say is material sound? Cinema songs, sports, and so forth. Anything, I mean a more general definition. Any sound that is not connected to Krishna. That's pretty powerful. So sound that's not connected to Krishna, or anything that's not connected to Krishna, is called Maya, or illusory energy. So if you connect the sound to Krishna, no matter what it is, then it can become spiritualized. The more you spiritualize your sound vibration, the more resonant you'll be when you're chanting your mantra. So if you don't like what you're being subjected to in your life, if you don't like the progress you're making, you can make little tweaks to your environment by changing the kinds of things that you hear. Starting from the moment that you wake up in the morning, how might you do that practically? Really practically. Yes, Prabhu? Yes. Either one. Ty goes to the runner. It's baseball.
Setting an alarm with...
Okay, set an alarm with the Maha Mantra. Yep, that's the first thing you'll hear. Yes, you had one, and then you? Yeah?
Prabhu, you can set aside a certain time of the day where you don't do anything but just the Maha Mantra.
You can do that?
Yeah.
If you can do that, you've got a serious spiritual practice on your hands, because it's not so easy. You might say, I'm going to set aside a specific time of day to chant my mantra. What might happen instead? Anything else. So you have to have a lot of determination and work on it ahead of time. Kita Priya, please give her a microphone back there because she'll be up next.
Whenever you get in the car, you can play the Hare Krishna mantra.
Car can be like a little moving temple. There's speakers in there nowadays, and you can listen to spiritual sound vibration in your car, right? Say yes. Yes. That's true. Yeah, go ahead.
Usually in the morning while cooking in the kitchen, I play kirtan, so it goes in my ears.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and when you're cooking, it's important because according to these teachings of devotional service, you put your consciousness in the food that you're cooking. So it's nice if you're absorbed spiritually when you're cooking, because that'll have an effect. And that is another way of developing your resonance. You are what you eat, not just in body and mind, but also in spirit. And if you eat food that's at a much higher vibration, the highest vibration is food that's cooked with love and made as an offering to the Supreme. It's called prasadam. And if that's what you eat, then every cell in your body will start taking on this kind of resonance. So when you chant the mantra, it'll be very, very powerful experience. So there's at least two very practical ways that you can make a list of VLCs. One way is adjust your environment so you're hearing more spiritual sound, and the other one has to do with what you eat. Can you change your diet? Yes. It's really possible? Yes. Okay. Is it easy? Yes. Yes and no. I mean, it's a simple thing, but sometimes, I mean, what might be obstacles to changing your diet? Yes? What? A mic. Name an obstacle.
You've gotten so used to eating it, it's hard to give it up.
Okay, your senses don't like to, change. You say, here, we're doing this new thing. They say, nuh-uh, not me. I'm doing what I'm doing. Who had another one? Obstacles. Yes, to changing your diet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, when you are dependent on the other family members
there you go.
to cook,
yes,
and then you have to honor what
they might say. They might say, wait, hold it. We don't eat that. We eat like this. Yeah, that happens all the time. Eating's a big thing culturally. What you eat and the kinds of spices you add, or anything like that, people really freak out. Little things like, I'm not eating that anymore. It's like, what do you mean you're not eating that? When I was a little kid, I became a vegetarian, and it was a big traumatic thing in my household. Like vegetarian, they had to actually go to a nutritionist and see, is he going to survive? Seriously, they were worried. What might happen. It's a trauma. People identify so much with food. I just came back from Italy. Everyone, it's actually got around there, this pizza thing. Everyone's carrying it around, eating pizza. And if you told Italians, no more pizza, I mean, there would be like a bloody riot, in every... They would die. And it's just a concoction. You can trace it out on Wikipedia. Somebody thought that up at one time to honor the Queen. And it's like, and then it caught on. It's like, Italiana pizza, and that's their main thing. And if you say don't eat it anymore, we're not saying that. Nobody in Italy freak out. But we're just saying, making the point that these habits are not so easy. It's a simple thing, but it's not so easy to enact. But it's a voluntary life change. What you eat is up to you. What you eat is up to you. Nobody can tell you what to put in your mouth. You're a human being, you're adults, you can decide. So if you decide to modify your diet so you're eating more spiritually, your level of resonance in which you're able to hear the holy name, which is the main means of practice of bhakti, hearing the japa that you yourself are chanting. No one can deprive you of that experience. You can decide and you can make voluntary life changes. Those are the VLCs. Harivamsa Prabhu, you had one? Oh no, okay. Yes, one more.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
You're on a roll, go for it.
One experience, Prabhuji. Even if you want to eat pizza, I have received Ekadashi pizza in Mayapur. So one can change it if one really wants it to pizza also.
So many arrangements are there for food.
Yeah, Haribol.
Every culture, people, it's the one thing, if you feed any living entity too, they'll follow you around, they'll like you. Food is a major part of our life. And if you don't believe it, just fast one day. Don't eat anything and see how you feel. It's like, I'm bummed out. Why? You didn't get to eat. This is a part of our life, and it's a major part of bhakti. Devotional service is called a kitchen religion, as we believe it all starts there with the consciousness in which you cook and the awareness in which when you're eating. Sheshwari Leela is asking for the mic. This is going to be good.
So setting up the environment where you're going to sit and chant the night before, helps me to make sure that that's the first thing on my mind when I get up.
Very good. So this is like baby-proofing your house. If you have a baby, babies go around, they put everything in their mouth. And so before people have a baby, they have to consider that the environment is baby-proofed. So you know that your mind is like a little baby. When we wake up in the morning, it wants to do all kinds of stuff. If you leave out temptations, then it might go for them, start taking all kinds of other things except for your meditation. So if you prepare the night before, baby-proof your house, and get ready for the practice the next day, this is a VLC. It's a voluntary life change. You can decide to organize your environment so that it's more conducive to your spiritual practice. And if you do that, and if you start a home practice, let's say you just did 10 mantras a day in japa, that's all you did, but you did it every day, very deliberately, with full attention, you would be called serious spiritual practitioner. Yes. Now, okay, last point.
One more is voluntary life change, which is choosing whom to meet with, associate with the like-minded people and who are spiritually more advanced and at least inclined towards spirituality, and making some further progress in life.
This is key. In fact, this is the main key. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when teaching about devotional service, said that a serious spiritual practitioner is someone who chooses his or her association very carefully, because, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Purusha prakritisto hi bhunte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sarasad yoni janmasu. That you become like those you associate with. So if you want to know why you're like you are now, it's because of your previous association. If you want to know what you're going to be like later, look around and see who you're associating with, because you're going to be like them later on. And if you want to change how you're going to be later, then take Prabhu's advice and be selective about your association. Associate with those that have the values you want to emulate and that you want to imbibe. We'll take them in. Now we're going to have a round of questions. Now this is a little ominous because asking questions isn't always so easy, but I think once we get on a roll, we can go for a few minutes with some questions and answers. Are you ready? Shraddha's ready. Shot from a cannon. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the wonderful class. I needed this very badly. Can you just comment on the speed with which we chant? Or we should chant. Like,
That's a good point, yeah. Well, especially with japa, it's helpful to chant at a speed where you can touch all the syllables. Of course, your mouth is a mechanical instrument, and it can be refined because you'll notice if you practice, like those who do public speaking or they do acting, they have all kinds of warm-up exercises that they do in order to get themselves ready so that the apparatus of their tongue and their throat and everything else is ready to go. Their breath is important. And that's because it's mechanical. It has to warm up a little bit. When you chant japa, you're best served if you're aware of how the mechanics are working. And Prabhupada mentions this in his teachings. He said that the tongue and the mouth should be working, and the vocal cords should be working together. And so the speed should be at a speed that you can hit all the syllables. How many syllables are there in the Maha Mantra? 32. So make sure you're hitting all 32 syllables. If you can count them all as you're chanting, then you'll know that you're chanting at a speed that is sustainable. But if you go too fast and you can't actually count the mantras, they're actually just in your head, but your mouth is making another sound like then that's not so good. And there's a lot of jokes you can make about that, but it's just a fact. And one of the ways practically that you can help yourself is just use a recording device and record yourself chanting and listen to it. It's scary, just like getting on a scale is scary. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to get on a scale because then I'll have to reform my life, or the way I eat. But if you record how you're chanting, that's a little scary too, because you're like, wow. For the last 40 years, I've been missing about 13 of the 32 syllables. And you might think, no wonder. That explains a lot. So be deliberate, be careful. Just like when you're learning an instrument, if you're learning to play a violin or any other instrument, you go slow in the beginning and you try to hit the notes properly. And when you go slow enough until you actually have some precision, then you can speed up and you'll feel more comfortable doing it. Does that help, Shraddha? Thank you for that important question. Other questions? This is a question session. Yes, Bali Mardan Prabhu with a question.
Hare Krishna. So you mentioned about the kitchen religion and also about cooking and prasadam. So would you like to also give insight because many people nowadays going for vegetarian in America as well as outside of America, also Europe. So, and also we are developing last 2 years the consciousness cooking or eating or things like that. So what it affects means the food is same, the procedures we are cooking also mode of goodness, but what exactly the consciousness cooking and how it helps in our own consciousness. If you can give some examples or more insight.
Well, thank you, Bali Mardan Prabhu, for such a practical and important question. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yat karoshi rashnashiyas johosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kontya tat kurishva manarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, do as an offering to me. So at the very beginning level, if one's eating a certain thing, you should offer it first to Krishna. Whatever you're eating, offer it to Krishna. Then you might come to the next level of consciousness and ask yourself, what does Krishna like to eat? If there's a certain thing that's more favorable, then you might consider that. And in that consideration, that I'm not cooking this for myself, I'm cooking as an offering to Krishna, then you'll find that connection. And Krishna mentions this in the Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya pariyachati taraham bhakti paritam ashnami paritatmana. If someone has this idea that I'm going to offer something nice to Krishna, then Krishna says, I'll eat that for sure. And this is the idea, there's an exchange of love. I first read the Bhagavad Gita in high school. A friend of mine gave me a little copy of the Bhagavad Gita, and I read that verse, and I was on my way to school, and I had an apple in my bag, going to high school. And I remember stopping on the way there and said, I'm going to test this out. And I held the apple up, and I just, started like offering it. I just held the whole apple. Please accept this. And I felt a reciprocation that I'll never forget when offering. And it's as simple as hearing from the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna wants you to offer something to him out of love, bhakti. And then he says, I'll take it. And then, of course, there's more refinements after that, but the basic point is that you do it for a higher cause. You're cooking. I mean, conscious cooking means, for in the realm of bhakti yoga, it means cooking for Krishna. And there are lots of cookbooks and lots of others. Just recently in Los Angeles, there was the Prabhupada Festival, and the organizers invited 8 cooks who had personally cooked for Prabhupada when he was here, and had them all talk about the ways in which he had instructed them how to cook, what to do, what not to do. And they also held demonstrations. They put a little temporary kitchen out in front on the lawn of the temple, and each one of them cooked various preparations and showed everyone. And everyone told me, after 30 years of having the Prabhupada Festival, said this was the best one ever. So cooking in your house, you just make conscious cooking, you'll notice that the whole household changes. Thank you, Bali Mardhan Prabhu.
So just to one thing which I wanted to also highlight means conscious cooking is good, but sometimes people think as devotees, okay, I need to diet control in terms of I'm giving Krishna, but everything is directed from my perspective, means putting less ghee or putting less fat-free, which may not be so palatable for Krishna. But I'm doing in a consciousness of my own health, but as well as I'm offering to Krishna. So is it a complete Krishna conscious, or is it still self-conscious plus Krishna conscious? So
that's a really technical question. It is really, because there are really 2 standards. I mean, this is one way this can be answered. And in the temple, when we're cooking for Krishna as the deity, there are certain standards which are not changeable. The cooking should not be adjusted to one's own taste. But if you live in a house and you're cooking really ultimately for your family and for yourself, Krishna will accept anything. And I say that based on the padatis that we have, which describe that there's 2 different standards of deity worship. One is in the temple, where you have to perform everything perfectly, and just as you're taking care of Krishna like a king. Whereas in your house, it's a little different. It's a standard according to what's practical for you. So that's the end of our lightning round of questions. Right? Oh, there's one more, okay. And then we're going to have a little more Sankirtan. Is that good? Yes. Okay. Prabhu, Mataji, please go ahead. No, I'm pointing to her, Shiva.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you.
So, Prabhu, I have one basic question which can be taken many ways. So, for example...
It can be what?
One basic question regarding chanting.
But what about the many ways?
I mean, for example, for doing 1 round chanting,
yes,
how long should take? Because some people tend to speak faster. And I heard about that if you chant faster, you have less time to think anything. Besides, the mundane thought doesn't come. But if you chant slowly, your mind turns to wonder a lot.
Try both and see what happens. You can experiment with your chanting and see what happens. We've been having every Saturday morning here in the temple a japa circle. Starts at 6 a.m. You can all come if you want. It's really nice. We sit in a circle, and we very deliberately chant japa together for over an hour. And at intervals, we stop like every 15 minutes and mention a verse, some instruction, so it helps focus the mind. But during those times of japa, experiment and see what works for you. Because like I was mentioning the other day, if I sit and chant japa, sometimes it helps me to be more focused. I notice if I sit and I go like this, I'm chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna. You can really start rocking. I notice if I stop rocking, I stop moving at all, then my mind becomes more still. I can concentrate. I'm not saying that everyone else should do that. I'm just saying I've experimented and found out ways that work for me, and also a speed at which I can hear. I recommend, it's not such a mechanical process, although that's involved, but if you chant more from your heart, like you're really calling out, I need help, please, and it's a prayer, you'll find that it's a lot more wholesome, and you tend to self-calibrate when you do that, because you're really trying to say the thing clearly when you're chanting.
So does timing matter in the sense of...
It can. On that side, the mechanical side can... Because if you figure out all of a sudden, let's say you're chanting on beads, right? And let's say all of a sudden you discover you're chanting 3-minute rounds.
No.
You're probably skipping beads. Because the hands can do that too. They start getting a little crafty and they're like, and next thing you know, it's like, wow, that was over fast. But you can say, yeah, it was probably 10 minutes, but actually it was, 30 seconds. So both sides are there. There's a mechanical side and there's a very spontaneous devotional side, and the two actually go together remarkably. You have to have a little bit of control. Krishna says, Raga Dvesha Vimuktaistu Vishayan Indriyaishcharan Atmavashar Vidhe Atma Prasaram Adhigachati. There's a way in which he mentions regulative principles that free you. So if you're careful about your practice, a little bit precise, then you'll become more spontaneous later. Prabhupada gives this example. He said, when you learn to type, at first you need the typing book, and you have to be very careful where you place your fingers to get them trained, because they have a mind of their own. And after a while, you don't need the typing book, and your fingers, you don't even need to tell them anything. They go there. So start off at a speed that you can handle, and make sure that you're doing it properly. And after a while, you'll start to do it more naturally. But it's always good to check in and see how you're doing. You can't assume that you're doing it perfectly. Try to reform yourself regularly. And that's what's called the clearing stage. When you're actually trying and making sure consciously that you're doing the chanting properly, that's when you'll make advancement. Chaitanya Charan gives this excellent example. Okay, so it's January 1st, or let's say January 3rd, and everyone's back from the holiday, and you decide, I'm going to join a gym, right? Yeah, so everyone joins the gym January 3rd, and then, of course, they quit by January 27th, but in the interim, you go there, and for the first 3 days, they show you the weights, and you start lifting the weights, and then you think, yeah, I should definitely go to the gym. It's a good idea to do these exercises, but lifting the weight is a little bit troublesome. So I'm going to go, and instead of lifting the weights, I'm just going to go like this. So similarly, I can start chanting and think it's a good idea, so I'm going to do it every day, but I don't concentrate. I don't do anything to focus my mind. And then you can go on doing that. It's like lifting weights. You really don't grow. You don't make any advancement. So you have to kind of push yourself a little bit in meditation to be a little disciplined, because the mind doesn't naturally cooperate. Good questions. Thank you. Yes. Okay, sure.
So Maharaj, during reciting a mantra, if I mispronounce a word, do I have to go back and recite the mantra again?
Yeah, I had a friend who used to do that. We were traveling together across country, and he'd always take like 4 hours to finish his rounds. And we'd say, like, how does it take you so long? And he says, if I get partway through my japa and I skip a bead, I start over. We didn't appreciate it very much because he was never available for any service. But no, I've never read any specific, admonition that if you skip something, that you should go back. But if you mispronounce or something like that, then on the same bead and you notice it, then I do that. But don't. It's a balance. You have to make a little progress while you're chanting. Otherwise, you'll get bogged down with that too. So, yeah, good question. It's important. So anyone who wants to start a home practice, and be part of our japa club here, you can contact Shraddha Devi Dasi. Can you stand just for a sec so you can contact her? She'll put you on the list. That way you'll have more coaching and help with developing your japa. And coming weeks we'll be having our tent outside where you can meet others who are chanting japa and also get some extra instruction. So start a serious home practice chanting japa. Take the VLCs to heart. They're voluntary life changes. It's your life. You can change it any way you like. No one can stop you. Now we're going to have some dancing. So we're going to move everything out of the way. All these asanas are going to go in the back. The rug is going to get rolled up. And this dance floor is going to open up for you to dance and chant together. I thank everyone for joining us here at ISKCON Silicon Valley for this part of the program. And everyone who joined us online from various parts of the world, let's all please thank them by saying Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, hey, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman, Natari Armarman.